Hit it, Logan.
It's After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
Your weekly download of their extracurricular activities. Enjoy.
This week on After Hours with Mariah and Ty. So welcome to ADD, the podcast. Anyways.
I gotta check your LinkedIn. Like, I've never said that before to anyone in my life.
There's less and less people drinking.
Well, it's not us.
Good.
I mean, I'll try it. Like a mustard cider, sure, why not?
All right, welcome Dennis Scanland from Sunny Cider. This is incredible that we've had a lot of really great guests on recently on our podcast, but Calgary local. Is a cidery the technical term?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
Not a brewery. There's
Not a brewery.
Because you think of brewing as like cooking.
Yeah.
It's not a winery.
Well, it's pretty much a winery, but we use apple juice instead of grape juice.
I did have the benefit today to actually go earlier to the cidery. Check it out. Shout out Connor. He's the guy cooking in the back.
Yeah, he's my cider maker. Yeah,
he's incredible. So he kind of gave me a walk around. We're going to show a little bit of that throughout the podcast, obviously. But first
Watch
off,
the video.
Yeah, like congratulations on having not only the cidery, but also this restaurant space. I want to get into that a little bit later too, because I was just blown away. Sam and I walked in there. It's gorgeous when you walk in.
It's in Kensington, correct?
No.
It's over in like Marlborough.
Yeah, it's called
area.
Franklin Industrial Park, so between Mayland Heights and Marlborough.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was actually super easy to get to, but it was beautiful when you walked in. I actually thought we should do our Christmas party.
I was sleeping in this morning. I was lucky to not have to wake up early, I guess. For
Yeah.
lunch.
Oh, that's funny. Not picking apples?
Well, if I had an apple tree, I'd be there.
Yeah.
I was going to get you to kind of come and pick some apples from my tree, but I did donate some, so I'm very happy to see what they go into. Dennis, before you tell us about yourself and obviously your success of your business, you have brought so much shit for us to try, and
A lot of ciders.
Very excited, and I feel like I'm at a winery because you are such a sophisticated man. You brought us tasters and a plethora of things to work through.
Yep.
So the first one, I believe, is this black can. What is this first guy that we're trying?
It's our core apple, so it's just straight apple. Basically, the only thing that is in this cider is apples.
That's a good carbonation to it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's interesting because like real cider, like old world cider, you wouldn't get carbonated cider. It's always still. It's like, but in our culture in North America, everybody wants a carbonated drink.
How do you feel about like the bulk cider makers, like Strongbow and all of them? Because we just had a brewery guy on, and he was like, it's like us against Budweiser, kind of. How do you feel about like the Strongbows of the world?
Well, I don't want to get too much into it, but Strongbow is probably the de facto cider. Like it's probably like my biggest competition when I try and get on tap at some place, at a bar or restaurant. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs to have Strongbow because there's people that they want their crown float was where you put Strongbow on top of Guinness or vice versa. I can't remember what it is. It's really the only cider that works with because of the they call it specific gravity, the amount of sugars that are in there.
Okay.
And but ultimately, it's not a bad like their cider's really expensive. And ours is, we've got the Bramble products, the two top cans that are on there. The Bramble ones are budget cider. So we tried to, we tried to get the price down on those. So it's really competitive and really good for what's called on premise in bars and restaurants.
Very knowledgeable. Like we're just curious about the battle, right?
And like I thought maybe when you were younger you had a Strongbow and you're like, this is good, but I can do better.
No, a little history of Sunny Cider is we kind of started making apple cider in Sunnyside. My business partners, Tim and Darlene Kitchen, they had a place in right next to a park. Tim used to be on the what do you call it?
Like the
board of directors of the HSCA, and he helped organize a orchard in Sunnyside.
Oh.
So, but every fall he saw these apples on the ground. He's like, we need to do something with this. This is really sad. So we started picking the apples and pressing them. We were just making apple juice to start, and then we thought, well, let's do some applesauce. And then he's like, we would need to make alcohol.
Wow, my man.
Because there was no Calgary cideries other than like Village and Rock Creek at the time. So there's no craft cideries. So we started I think we estimated about 2013 was the first year we started making cider. and then it was 2019 is when we actually opened the cidery.
Oh,
so it was like last year we did something like 2,000 liters amongst all the neighbors that were working there.
Oh, wow.
And working there, volunteering.
Were you always a fan of cider, or
no?
now do you have like a palate?
To be honest, I do love beer. Like I'm a beer
Yeah.
guy. I really like the craft beers, but I really enjoy cider, and I'm finding that I'm drinking more cider as I get older as well. It's
Oh.
not as bloaty, and you can kind of, it goes really good with food.
Yeah.
Like this is like it's acidic. It's a little more acidic than wine or beer, so it goes really good with meats. Like, sorry for all the vegetarians out there, but,
No, but
really
it's-
good with meats. Our ciders are vegan and gluten free and all that sort of thing. So
I completely agree with what you're saying about like the taste palette, but I just wanted to backpedal a little bit because I did not know the history about the neighborhood like
Yeah.
save the apple sort of idea.
Yeah.
So that's where the name comes from. You
That's
said
right.
you've been involved since 2019.
2013
Okay,
is kind of when we
2013,
we
okay.
started using neighborhood apples, juicing in Tim's garage, and then the name came around one day. Tim's kind of got some dry humor, and he just said, we should call it Sunny Cider.
Yeah.
And it stuck.
Okay, but it's
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. Like whoever's doing, we talked about this off camera a little bit. Whoever's doing your logos and your artistry for the
Yeah.
cans,
Yeah.
killing it.
It's really nice, yeah.
Well, a shout out to them. So there's a group called Grant Design
Okay.
that did the can designs, the Tall Boys. And then I've got a lady named Shauna, sorry, I can't remember her last name, is doing like all the cans updates and the new ones, like the plum one we have, the Sunny Soda she's done, that sort of thing.
beautiful.
So she's taken what Grant Design has done and kind of just ran with it and kept the brand and the look and feel.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, our producer, has off mic here become. He's become a porter for us and cracked a couple of these drinks.
Oh, yeah.
I have seen this and I haven't purchased it yet.
Yeah.
I would love to move on to this one and try this one.
The purple.
This is
The
a
purple.
Saskatoon berry, correct?
Saskatoon berry, you bet. Yeah.
Okay, I
Wow.
think that. Oh, he's pre-poured.
And while
Sam.
he's handing these out, I do have a question because you said you drink more cider. I was looking at the cans there, and some of them are like 4%, some are a little higher.
Yeah.
Can you make like a really high percentage alcohol cider?
We do. So those tall ones, like the oak age cider and the pear cider.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you. We did one called an imperial cider. So I saw all the imperial stouts and imperial IPAs coming out. Basically, what that means is it's gonna knock you on your ass because they're usually like anywhere from 9 to 13% alcohol. So I tasked at that time another. I'll get into him in a minute, but another cider maker named Tyler. He took a bunch of our crab apples, our local crabs, and dumped I don't know how many bags of Demerara sugar into it. So the way when you make cider or any alcohol, whatever the sugar content is, that will dictate what the alcohol is, the finished alcohol
Really?
is.
Okay.
And so we
Oh.
had it up to about 15%.
Oh, geez.
And we dialed it back to, I think it's 11.5%. And it's
Okay.
aged nicely. It tastes like rum.
Ooh.
With Demerara sugar,
That's
yeah.
very fascinating. I've always
Yeah.
wondered that about cider because
Yeah.
you never really you have to look at the can, be sure the alcohol percentage.
That's right,
you're
So
that's
getting.
are
right.
you saying the more sugar, the higher alcohol
Yes.
content?
Yeah.
Really?
And what about like because you say you drink more cider now.
Yeah.
So good.
What about the cider hangovers? Are they worse?
I don't know. People do talk about not getting hangovers from cider, but I still get some.
It's just
I was gonna
just
say,
curious.
look at this man. He's a machine. He doesn't get hangovers.
No hangovers here.
Everyone's different though, right? Like I'll have a Guinness and I'll be like, this is delicious. And
Yeah.
some people will be like, that's a meal, and I'll be like, okay, you just don't like Guinness. Like, just say that. That's what I say.
But it's low alcohol and it's low calorie.
Yeah, so
Which
I
is
imagine that
crazy.
some people could drink a cider and be like, oh, the hangovers are killing me, and some would be like,
Yeah.
I get no hangover.
Yeah,
from
no,
cider.
we'll have to try it. Let's drink.
Dennis,
I'm
all
getting
these.
there.
Yeah.
This is I really love the first one, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's something about
You
the
like the Saskatoon, hey?
Oh
Yeah.
my god! I don't know if I'm a sucker for the color, but I
Yeah.
just it's it's beautiful and it tastes.
No,
you can taste the berry.
It's nice. So we use prairie Saskatoons, that sort of thing, fresh pressed, that sort of thing, and then that's basically just our apple cider. So the apple, the black can, we always try to integrate some Calgary juice into that one.
Oh.
Okay.
Like we supplement. There's no way we could do our entire. We did I think 90,000 liters of cider last year, and so there's no way we can do that with Calgary apples. We did 9,000 liters, so 10%.
Wow.
Was Calgary apples last year. This year is going to be way down. Just every second year it ends up being a lot more. But so the apple always has Calgary juice in it as well. It's we always try to integrate, and because it's got some really nice flavors to it.
Yeah.
A lot more than Okanagan fruit.
That was something that I was actually asking Connor about, because when I had went in to the cidery, there was all sorts of different apples. Like what I donated was like good eating apples, and they had like fair size.
Yeah.
There's crab apples, all these, and then some people had these huge. I was like, where are these being grown in Alberta? And I said, well, what does that kind of determine the taste when you have all these different blends and varieties?
Or do you do it like with
apples?
certain apples for certain flavors?
Well, here's the thing. Is kind of a cool story. So I mentioned Tim and Darlene Kitchen. They have now moved into the Okanagan and to Karamias, and he's working for a juicing operation for an orchard there. They're opening up a cidery as well. So guess where we're getting our juice from now? So he's still making our juice for us. We used to just hire a company called Mobile Juicing to go out to the orchards and juice, that sort of thing.
Wow.
But now we're getting 100% of our Okanagan juice from Tim's orchard called Lasser Produce. Yeah,
That's good. I like hearing all these Canadian
But that
companies.
being said, it's almost impossible. Not like beer. Beer is pretty easy to replicate recipe after recipe. These are really hard. Like every batch is slightly different. There's something a little bit different in it. We've had some ones where we're like, this is kind of probably as good as we're going to get with this one, which is not nice, as a business owner.
But it's,
you're like,
And your palate's though probably
Gotta
much
get
more
it out.
advanced for it, because you've probably tasted it
oh,
all
you would
the time.
notice.
Yeah.
You would notice.
I would notice?
Yeah, you would notice.
Okay.
Like the dryness of it. It might have a little bit more Macintosh as opposed to Brosia apples in it.
Wow.
Sometimes it depends on where the apples are from.
you.
That sort of thing.
Sam's giving us a third shot of cider. I don't know
Sam-
what this one is from, but
You need a job at your. You got the Riz for the.
Bartender.
Yeah.
while we have this sample, I want to ask, like, do you do this full time now? Because you said it started in 2013, and now you're just off and running.
This is my gig. So come 2019, I committed full time. I took a salary to start, all that sort of thing, and I've been working. This is my bread and butter. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think going back to we were talking earlier about breweries, that sort of thing. All the breweries that are in town, a lot of them kind of run as hobbies for a lot of guys, and they don't make it because it's like you gotta be on the ground, and I have to be out selling product. I've tried to hire salespeople, and they just can't sell
They don't
product.
speak the language.
Well, it's different when
They're not as committed.
Yeah.
You're
Right?
in it with your friends. You're lifelong. It sounds like very good long
Yep,
friends.
exactly.
And you owe it to each other to commit to the product.
And you know the product.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Do we need to do a camera flip or no?
We do, yeah. We'll cheers
Okay.
this one. Which flavor is this?
This one's the sour cherry.
All right, this is
Yeah.
delicious. We got to flip the
An
cameras.
air cheers.
More with Dennis from Sunny Cider when we're back.
Cheers.
After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
It's like their radio show, but in podcast form.
Dennis, thanks so much for joining us. You're here from Sunny Cider in Calgary. You are over in the Marlborough area of
That's
Calgary.
right.
And I wanted to ask you, because we've been chatting about these amazing ciders, a little bit of the production process and kind of, what goes into it. But tell us a little bit about yourself, the man behind it. Like,
Well,
what did
it's,
you do? Yeah.
Yeah, so my kind of professional history, I used to work in music, the old A&B Sound. I don't know if you guys even knew about that store, but downtown, the old Bank of Montreal, one of the best music stores I think I've ever, well, there was a few in England that were pretty cool, but it was the best store in Western Canada. I worked in there for like 7 years. And it was
Wow.
like, I think I love this job, but that was amazing. I'm sad to see music stores kind of. Yeah.
So what kind of music do you like? You can tell us. You can say whatever.
I listen to your station. I'm a big kind of, I like all the dad rock stuff, National and Spoon and Wilco, like all of those types of bands. And then my kids are getting me into stuff like Zach Bryan and Noah Kahan and all those sort of things.
Wow,
too, so,
you do, yeah.
You got a good taste.
I'm like, and then I ran a music review site for a long time called Music Emissions, and I ran that for like 10 years. That was my I went to SAIT and took web development, and that was my project. And
Dennis,
then I
you're
launched
full
it.
of surprises, man.
You're the right man to have on
since you walked in here.
Yeah, you're
surprising me nonstop.
So then I went into the tech world, and I did web development for probably 13 years. I did a few kind of random projects, that sort of thing. I ran my own company, and then I got hired by a big, large company called Varieties, and they were a Silicon Valley
big tech
company, that sort of thing.
Okay.
They got bought by a company called Autonomy, and you might have heard Autonomy in the news recently because the CEO just drowned in the ship accident.
No, in the submersible.
No way.
No, not the submersible. The yacht accident just off the coast of Calgary.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so that was my old boss.
Jeez.
Yeah, so he got in trouble for like overvaluing the company when it sold to HP, and so I ended up with HP as well. I worked for HP for about a year.
Like
and
a
by
laptop printer?
Yeah, it was a laptop, but this was always enterprise software is what kind of went down the line, and HP was trying to get into enterprise software, and I still think they're struggling from this. I think it was valued at something like $8 billion, and the true value was only 2 or something like that.
Jeez, they're making a Netflix doc out of that probably.
I know.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the other one, not the CFO, but one other guy in the finance thing, got killed by a car accident just like days after Mike Lynch died. So
Holy shit.
I know there's some conspiracies on this whole thing.
That could be
dark
another
web
episode
stuff.
of the
Wow.
podcast. We could do another conspiracy.
We did a true crime conspiracy one. We might have to call you for that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I got into urban farming.
Which is like foraging and
Well, not really. It's like using people's front and backyards to grow vegetables for markets, for restaurants, that sort of thing.
Okay.
That's very cool.
And it was kind of a neat thing. And I was building raised beds and gardens for people for a
what
while.
a career
too.
path, man.
I
You gotta
know.
show me that
It's
resume
crazy.
after.
You're like,
What do
yeah.
you put on? What do you leave out? Show
Yeah.
me the whole thing.
So cider kind of translated quite nicely from foraging or because a lot of yards that I was growing on had apple trees or even pear trees.
I gotta check your LinkedIn. Like, I've never said that before to anyone in my life.
That's probably why
Yeah.
you have like a good like zest and energy for your jobs, because you're kind of changing and exercising different skills, right?
Yeah.
Like you said yourself, sometimes you hire some salespeople for, the brand, and they're not giving it what you would do. And I just think you have a very well-rounded background of
Yeah.
skills that
And
you
also,
can apply.
like, clearly you like music, you like art. I think this also is art in a sense.
Yeah, it totally. Cider really is, because it is the blending project. Like I just made our last batch of sour cherry because Connor was sick last week, and we had to make some kegs. And so
Yeah.
I blended it myself, and I actually had my son up there. I'm like, what do you think? Like it's
Oh.
like tasting and kind of trying it all out. That sort
You
of
got
thing.
some
So-
music on while you're doing this, I imagine, for sure.
No, that was a quick little. I need
thank
some
you.
input. I'm not sure if this is right or not. And it's like, yeah, good.
I could just
good to
picture
go.
the life, Dennis. Like, I'd be coming home, cracking a cider, putting a record on.
Well,
That's
and-
probably what you're doing.
Yeah.
Ty, wait until you see the video of this place. It's gorgeous in there. Like, even if you have a tough day at the office, you go, oh, great, I set foot into this gorgeous
I am
restaurant.
actually a little bummed. They went to McDonald's today without me even.
Oh, no.
And I was like, guys.
I know. We had a really great day. It was actually lovely.
That's funny.
My next question that I wanted to ask you, now that I feel like I know you, this was excellent to have your background. Connor
What is this
mentioned.
cider?
Yeah, this cider
What is this
first.
one?
Yes.
We've
What is
moved
this
on
one
to a new
first?
one.
And then we'll move on to our next question.
So we like to do seasonal. So the 3 that we've had, the apple, Saskatoon, and sour cherry, are all are available all the time. This one's a plum cider.
Oh,
So
I
this
like
one's-
Yeah,
this.
you can taste the tartness.
Yeah,
This is
of the plum.
exactly.
spice. This is nice.
So we added vanilla to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like we did the plums and it wasn't quite enough to kind of meld things. So it's kind of like cooking. You do little test batches, you try it out.
This is giving
It's an art.
festive.
It is.
It's an art.
It totally is.
This is really
Yeah, I would
giving-
definitely drink this around the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Thanksgiving.
So it's kind of a fall cider, with the we're working on another tea-based one. I'm not going to spoil it, but a tea-based one.
You can give us
for
an
the winter.
exclusive if you want.
Break it here, the news.
Blueberry tea. I'm sure you guys have had blueberry tea
Yes,
before.
yes.
Yeah, we're going to try and do that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow, you're always on the up and up with the profile
Maybe we'll
flavors.
feature it when it's out. That'd be very fun.
Yeah. So my question that I was going to ask you is the people that you have partnered with to do a little bit of cooking in Sunny Cider. I thought that, I don't know if you wanted to mention that,
Yeah,
but
for sure. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool because not only can you go there, and I think a lot of challenges that distilleries and breweries and places are having is they don't have the culinary in-house, right? So
Yes.
you've taken measures to ensure that, it sounds like.
Yeah, so kind of when we launched Sunny Cider, Tim and Darlene are kind of really, like, Darlene especially is high end. She's loves fashion and impeccable. And so you saw the tap room. That was a
Gorgeous.
lot of her doing. We had fort architecture do all of the design, that sort of thing. And spent a mint on the place. And I want to tell anybody that's opening a place, or try and go bare bones to start, and then work your way up, because it's still so hard. We're still debt servicing like 5 years later, and it's a tough go. But it's beautiful, and it's really underutilized. And we've struggled with the location is interesting. It's on the other side of Deerfoot, and so
Yeah.
it's hard to get people out there.
Well,
Yeah.
we hope to have more people come out there after this podcast. But
Absolutely. Maybe we'll have
Yeah.
to go there.
Yeah,
But
so we just this summer we had Eats of Asia. They're an Asian street food chef duo. There's two of them, and they used to be at the Crossroads Farmers Market.
Oh.
And they came and did a couple pop-ups in the summer. We like to do restaurant pop-ups, and they were like, "What are you doing for food service?" And I said, "Well, we try to piece it together. It's not worth it for us to have a chef in there, because it was like." So they've been in there, and again, it's been a bit of a slog to kind of get people to know that they're there.
Yes.
People that come there love the cider, love the space, love the food. It's all perfect, but it's again. How many times you're going to go out and check it out. So you always need to be getting new people in there.
And so not to shift the gears, but
No.
you did have a story you were kind of like carrot teasing with us before we got into this about filming for a reality show. That never
Oh, yeah,
happened or
sorry.
something?
This has
I
been
need
in the
to
back
know
of his
this.
mind.
Yeah, you said that, and I'm like, when am I going to ask him about it?
This was just after COVID. It was apparently this is what happens now. People film entire shows.
Yeah.
And they pitch them to streaming media.
Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah.
they do it first.
Yeah, it's all ready to go, and you're just like, hey, Netflix,
Looking
you
for a
want this,
buyer.
or Crave, do you want this, that sort of thing. So I've never heard if it ever got picked up. So
You
it
don't
was-
know if it's out
Do you
there.
know what it was called? Do you remember
I
the
think
name
it was
of it?
called like Indefatigable or something like that.
Oh.
And it was all about businesses that survived in Calgary specifically over COVID and kind of their pivots
amazing.
and what they did, that sort of thing. So it was really neat. There was, you mentioned Skunkworks. I think they
Yes.
were involved with it as well.
Really?
I don't know any of the other businesses, but I think there's 6 or 8 businesses that were featured on this.
That is very cool.
Yeah. So it's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, but you know
Yeah.
what? Sometimes that's what happens with production in Alberta's popping off, obviously, right, for having in-house production. But
Robert Pattinson is filming down the street from us as we
Apparently- Oh,
talk.
really?
he was
Yeah.
down the street.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
I said we should have moved.
He's
over.
on next, actually. He's
Oh,
coming
is he?
on right
Oh,
after
no,
you,
he's
Dennis.
not.
I think
my
he'd like
God.
the cider. We should bring him in.
Yeah, get him for a taste test.
Isn't he British?
Yeah, he is British.
Is
yeah.
he?
Yeah, he
Oh.
loves. You'll get into it. This next one here. This
Yeah.
is.
You're like,
before-
what is this? This is sweet,
It's
isn't
everything
is,
is
yeah.
good. Like I'm not upset about
You,
any
you
of
can
it.
tell us what it is without even seeing the can.
So
Oh, it's
yeah,
a non-alc.
it's a non-alc one. So we call it Sunny Soda, and it's you see what we did there? We replaced
Yeah,
cider with
yeah,
soda.
I like
Clever.
We ended up doing a non-alc. We've always had this at the tap room. We've always had a non-alc. It's basically sparkling apple juice, watered down sparkling apple juice. And this, probably about October, we started to see a decline in liquor sales.
Oh.
And it's not just us, but on other breweries
Yeah,
and,
I was
and
reading
liquor
about this
stores.
like everywhere. Yeah.
And so it's like younger people older people, I don't know where it fits in, but there's less and less people drinking.
Oh, it's not us.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
We have to flip the cameras.
After Hours with Mariah and Ty.
And we're back. We have one of the brambles, I believe, now.
Yeah, I've been smelling this, and it smells amazing. And we actually have had these before, but
we can't name the episode number like that. We're at episode 79, I think, right now. So
that's funny.
Why are these called bramble? What's the story there?
Another business partner of ours, Tyler and Alicia, they. When we first, probably in our first year or so, they wanted to, we knew them. They used to come to the garage when we were pressing apples, hang out with us, bring these amazing ciders that he was making at home. Oh. And he owned the Bramble name. And he wanted us to make cider, so we did some contract cider making for him, and they were fantastic. So Bramble On has always been available in some format or another. It used to be like wild yeast and really funky and like a real traditional cider, and now it's our budget cider. So, but it's won so many awards already. So he decided he didn't want to open up a cidery, so he joined us as a business partner and brought Bramble over as part of his investment.
Wow.
So that's why we've got the two brands, Sunny Cider and Bramble, side by side. The Bramble being the budget 6-packs, that sort of thing. And then Sunny Cider is always all real ingredients, real juices. We try to keep it as local as we can with that one. Whereas the Bramble, we're going as crazy as we can.
But you know what? That's kind of cool though. Like, and just even
what does it mean when it's semi-dry? Not to cut Mariah off so rudely.
It's just off dry. So there's dry, semi-dry, semi-sweet, and sweet.
Okay,
like that's kind of the scale.
About that.
Dennis, you give Ty 4 drinks and he's off the wall. He doesn't even know anything.
Why is this so bloody good?
I'm just kidding.
I just was like, I gotta get this question out before I forget.
Welcome to ADD, the podcast. Anyways, no, this.
We've been working together for like 6 years, Dennis. So.
Back to the gardening thing.
Oh yeah. No, I was curious. Damn it! Now you made me lose my fucking train of thought. Now I don't know what I was gonna say.
Talking about Bramble. We're talking about
Thank you. Yes, your other business partner.
Yes.
I felt like it was really cool to see that he could come to you guys, and if he had this passion project, like that's kind of interesting because being on an outside source, I don't know if I would know how that works just from the business side. Like we've heard all about the passion that goes into it, but that's pretty cool that you've been able to join together with these local people and make his dream happen.
He brought one of these most amazing ciders, and he's never made it for us. When we were in the garage, and it's like, I'm like, yeah, let's
get that one.
And it was like a double dry hop cider that he actually cooked, like brewed. And that sort of thing, and it was like tasted like a NEPA or like a IPA, that sort of thing. And I'm like, because he's a celiac, so he can't drink beer, and he loves beer, and so his goal with cider was always to replicate beers.
Wow.
And he never could. There was another one that we've had we made for him called Wild Child, and it was really like super funky and dry. It was almost like a Belgian style beer. It was really cool. So he's a really good cider maker. He's now he went back into he was the one that made some of our ciders, that sort of thing, for a while. But ultimately he went back to a real job where he was making real money. He's got a family to raise.
Well, I always thought that anybody who works in like a bit of a passion project, I know you have to work very hard, but I'm sure the reward is high, right? When you have success.
It's one of those things too. Like, I've been in it for 5 years, making enough to get by, that sort of thing, and it's, you kind of see. Thank you. You kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're like, okay, let's.
The payoff is happening.
This is coming. I can see 3 more years, and this is going to be good. And it's distribution. It's getting sales. It's always about sales, right? It's easy to make cider. It's easy to make anything. It really is.
It's a full circle. Yeah, I completely get what you're saying.
It's the sales piece that's hard.
Yeah, this is our last can, right?
This is the last of the Bramble.
Okay.
So this one's the peach one. This one came off of the canning line this morning.
Oh. Oh wow, exclusive. We're trying this
that's delicious.
fresh shit. This is amazing.
While we are sipping this, why don't you tell us a little bit about these big, beautiful bottles?
Yeah, we've got a nice bottle selection up, only at the tap room. So we've got an oak-aged cider. It's 100% Calgary fruit in that one, and it's sat in a Chardonnay barrel for a year.
Wow.
And
where do you get those from?
There's barrel vendors
Okay.
or brokers, they're called barrel brokers. So you can buy like tequila barrels, ones that have been used. We always thought about doing a tequila one with a little bit of lime in, so like it'd be a margarita.
Oh, that's cool.
I know.
Wow.
We still haven't pulled the trigger on that one. The barrels aren't cheap. They're anywhere from $200 to $500.
I'm sure
that
it's
sort
an
of thing.
investment, right?
And then the other one that we brought today was Calgary pear. And again, a lot of people are surprised you can grow apples in Calgary.
I was just gonna say, are you giving it a night? Are you saying it's Calgary pear? Is it actually
Oh,
Calgary
it is.
pears?
It
really?
is. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And 2 years ago,
You can see the chunks of like pear in it.
Yeah, there's lots of sediment in it. And the 2 years ago, we had enough pear cider that we actually did a canning run of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
are people growing pears? Is there
Just like you in
in
their
their
front
yard?
yards?
In
They
their yard,
got
yeah.
a pear tree. Beautiful trees in the spring. They have
Yeah.
these really nice white flowers.
Interesting.
And it's like wine.
Yeah.
Like you age it. Like it says vintage 2022.
Yeah,
I never
exactly.
knew that this was like a thing you
Okay.
could buy for cider.
Is this rude if we pour some for ourselves?
No,
Dennis?
not
Is that
at all.
okay?
Not at all.
Okay, we're
you
gonna.
lost the bartender? Is he?
Yeah, you know what? I used to be a bartender myself, so
oh, okay.
I am
Okay, so you're
confident.
qualified. You have
I,
a pro serve.
I do actually. It's my last year that it's existing. But
Hmm.
you were saying something about these cool tops. Those are your own that you guys.
Oh no, these aren't. They're just a wine.
Oh,
wine
I
top
like
on
it,
that one.
though.
We used to when we first came out, we did all glass, but we've switched.
Dennis, can I pour you?
Primarily, sure.
Okay.
Primarily to cans.
Yeah. I think that's actually really smart, though. Like you said,
Yeah.
more cost efficient.
Yeah, and then we just went to another kind of cool thing is like all our core stuff. We went to printed cans, and people are like, what's the purpose behind that? Thank you.
Look at that quality pour. That's a pro serve
yeah.
pour right there.
Do a high pour.
Yeah. Funny enough, we do have one called Sidra. It's a Spanish cider. It comes in a bottle, and it's meant to be long poured. It's
Is it like aerated?
yeah, exactly. And like in Spain, it's the Basque region in Spain. They like tap a big massive barrel, and it's pouring out, and people walk by and fill up their glasses from this
Wow.
from the spout that comes out.
We're
So-
living in the
Look at the
wrong.
passion.
Yeah.
The passion behind the cider.
Liquor is or liquor and food. I think.
So
is
this
a
one was
language
the
to
oak
speak to
one, right?
everybody. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have the Calgary pear.
Okay. This is yes. I poured you this one.
So you can
yeah.
taste it. It's way more complex than the
So
other
this
ones.
isn't carbonated then.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's like some original cider right there.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's real.
Oh, wow.
Real stuff, and it's interesting. Why can't a business make a living off of real cider? It's
Yeah.
just people are looking for what you have in the cans.
Yeah.
I do love a good
forced
carbonated drink. I do love a carbonated
It is.
beverage.
It's true, and you're not alone. Like
You know
that's-
what, though?
that's
But that
what
is
we're saying.
nice. That would be like very nice with a nice meal.
And
was-
that's just it. We plan to do some pairing projects with Eats of Asia as well in the fall here. So look for that too. We'll be selling tickets for like
fun.
a 4-course meal with some paired cider. Yeah, not pear cider, paired cider.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but paired, not pair. I was gonna say before we have one last. We like to play a little final game here, is
Sure.
what we like to do. But before we move to that, is there any events or anything that you have upcoming, or things you'd like to talk about that are new on the horizon? Or
Not this year. We've done some pretty cool events up at SunnyCider. We've got an open mic happening in October. We're
Stand up or music?
music, both.
Oh,
Both.
really?
You can do both. On our open mics are open anything, right?
Oh, wow.
I don't have my calendar in front of me, but it's I think the third Saturday in October, and Lori Fuhr, I think is her name, is going to be hosting it. We're doing them in the summer, and then we took a break for a little while, and we're going to start them up here in the fall again too. So we love doing music events up there as well. We used to do Thursday night music, like live music
Yeah.
up there too, but it was a really tough place to get people out to.
it's always hard, right? There's always challenges of figuring out your space, your demographic, of your regulars and
That's
things
right.
like that. But
That's right.
I think you guys have obviously mastered your product. So
thank you.
just on to the next.
Yeah, I can tell it's pretty
Thank you.
good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, we got lots of awards. We've won
Well
international
deserved.
awards, and
Yeah.
the Bramble On is actually Alberta Beverage Award winner again this year. Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Look at this, man.
And now it's time for Mariah and Ty's.
Game of the week.
Mariah and Ty's Game of the Week.
So we like to play a game,
Okay.
Dennis, and our game that we play is a simple game of Would You Rather.
Oh no.
And usually Ty likes to ask something quite obscure.
No, I don't. Okay. I have something that's on brand for you for cider.
Okay.
Mariah gets in my grills if I don't ask something that's...
You did some work on this one.
Yeah. So here's what I got for you, okay, Dennis?
Okay.
Would you rather all apples are Granny Smith forever, or you and you alone can only drink cider 50-50 with Guinness like a snake bite?
So all apples are Granny Smith forever.
Yeah.
In the world?
In the world.
In the world. So I'm able to dictate this for everybody in the world.
Yes.
Or I personally have to drink cider and Guinness.
Yeah, you can never have cider alone.
Cider and Guinness. Oof. Granny Smith, for sure.
Does Granny Smith make a good cider?
Oh, amazing.
Okay, well then now I know. Clearly I didn't know anything about cider when I wrote this.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's nice and tart and tannic. And, yeah, it's
Oh,
really good. Yeah.
okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Is that what you expected?
Me? I had no clue. I would do
What would you do?
I like the Guinness and cider mix.
Oh,
But
yeah? Have you tried it?
I love it.
Oh.
But now that you've told me that it can only be a strongbow, I'm like, that's pretty restricting.
Yeah, it's not a
restricting.
snake bite. That's called the crown float.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
mixed up. Someone online said it's called a black velvet.
No,
and I was
no.
like, what is it?
Black
sometimes
velvet is Guinness and champagne.
Yes.
And then what's
No,
a Guinness?
velvet. That's a velvet hammer.
Exactly. See,
That's
like
a
no
velvet
one can
hammer.
There's
really
a couple different
pinpoint
names
these.
though, like even for the there's like a whole
And the
bunch
snake
of-
bite, I believe, is like Bass or Bass English beer
Yeah.
and cider. Yeah. Yeah. So
who
it's like a
thinks of-
lager and cider. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, my would you rather is a little bit less complex.
Oh, you've got one too.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we like, and then you.
Oh, I
if
thought
you
this
wanna
was
ask-
over.
Oh no, I gotta put the
Keeps
thinking
going.
cap on. Okay, my would you rather is, would you rather have to work with a vegetable, let's say a pepper, spicy,
That carrot cider.
that's going to make a cider, or you have to work with some sort of like out there flavor? Like, what did you ask last time when we had far beer on? You were like, oh, let's do mustard or something.
No, it was nothing to do with mustard.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh,
All right,
it was
sure.
wasabi. Okay, yeah. Would you rather? Would you rather have a pepper variety to make a cider out of, or you have to use some sort of like secret ingredient that does not pair at all
A
with
little bit
cider?
of mustard in there. It's
Yeah,
fine.
some sort of condiment.
Condiment.
Well, I mean, you probably add
Well,
some
this
flavor.
is a funny story because we have done vegetable cider.
Really?
We've done a beet cider and we've done a carrot cider.
And how do those sell? How do those sell?
Not well.
It was more like whether or not you could, not whether or not you should.
Yeah, the beet cider was funny. My girlfriend's mother absolutely loved them.
Oh.
Like she lived in Saskatchewan. She's now passed away, but she would bring some beet cider, please.
Interesting.
And then, but it's like you'd expect. It's super beet flavor, and then our carrot one is still sitting on the shelf, so you probably saw it today.
You didn't
and
bring
that's-
us any, Mariah.
and this
you
is-
should have bought some.
And this is Tim Kitchen. This is all his idea.
Oh, to do the veggies.
Yeah. But anyway, I haven't answered your question yet.
Sure, yeah.
I think I would do the secret ingredient.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I mean, seems like fun.
Yeah.
I'd
Because
put a
you can pretty much put anything in cider.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's like cooking.
That always sounds disgusting. To me.
That's fine. I mean, I'll try it, like a mustard cider. Sure, why not?
Yeah. Oh, you weirdo.
Dennis, thanks for coming. And how do people drop off their apples or anything they want to donate? Because that's how we found out about you.
Excellent. This is actually the last weekend coming up. The Saturday and Sunday between 12 and 4. Show up at number 1, 3300 14th Avenue Northeast.
It was
And
actually
it's-
quite easy to find when I went today. You
Yeah.
guys got great signage, so very easy
We're
to
trying to get a
spot.
billboard on the curb there.
Oh,
so
yeah. Okay.
landlord's
Well,
been stubborn.
I look forward to eventually trying a small percentage of my apples in one of the ciders.
Yeah. You never know which one it's in, so you got to buy them all.
Exactly. It's smart.
It's going to be in the mustard cider.
Yeah.
Jesus. Dennis, thank you very much for your generosity, and
welcome. Thank you
everything
for
has
having
been
me on.
delicious. And wave goodbye. We look forward to having you again, hopefully.
Bye.
Adios.
You've been listening to After Hours with Mariah and Ty. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and have the new episode of After Hours with Mariah and Ty downloaded weekly to whatever device you use.
Hey there, folks! Tired of getting your daily hydration fix from overpriced soda? Is spraying your lawn with juice just not working? Does showering in maple syrup leave you feeling more sticky than clean?
There's got to be a better way.
Well, it's time to get back to the basics with the one and only regular tap water. That's right. For too long, we've let fancy drinks fool us into thinking they're the only way to quench our thirst. But let me tell you, regular tap water is back in Calgary to remind you what real hydration tastes like. Why settle for artificial flavors and crazy prices? Regular tap water is pure, simple, and free right from your kitchen sink or your neighbor's. It's the ultimate thirst quencher that's always available whenever you need it. No trips to the store, no guilt, just good old-fashioned H2O. So let's stop watering our plants with milk for now. Join the movement. So let's stop watering our plants with milk for now. Join the movement and say yes to regular tap water. Because sometimes the best things in life are right under your faucet.
Wow. It tastes like nothing.
Regular tap water, the original thirst quencher. Grab a glass today.
Water may not actually be free. Check your hydro bill for further information.